everybody, I'm Natasha. Today I'm going to start winter sowing some of my flowers for the 2022 garden. So come along and let me show you what winter sowing is and how to do it. And you can start right now. Now, winter sowing is a practice that is believed to let the seed decide when the season starts. Seeds normally outside, all kinds of seeds fall onto the soil by themselves in nature, and they know exactly when to come up. They can read the seasons before we can. So winter sowing is that idea, except that you do it in a jug or some kind of plastic container where you would create kind of a greenhouse for this seed to think that it is in a warmer season than it's already. And basically it will feel the temperature outside and decide when there's enough light of day to go ahead and start its season. And so winter sowing is believed to make seeds come up earlier, hardier, because they're already used to the climate outside and the cold. And many seeds actually want a bit of a cold start before they even get going. So winter sowing is really great in that it starts your seeds a bit earlier and they're already used to the temperatures outside by the time their actual time of season for growing comes. So come along with me as I winter sow some of our flowers for this year and some of our herbs, just so they can go ahead and get an early start to our season, because I just can't wait. To prepare your jugs, you want to cut it in half so that you have a bottom half to plant in and then a lid that you can tape on afterwards to close up your seeds and make that nice hot heat house. It doesn't really matter how high or how low you cut it, although you can cut it very low and only put a little bit of soil. I have enough soil to go around here, so I'm cutting mine roughly in the half, roughly about halfway. I just thought that may give the roots some more space to grow if I want to choose to keep it in there for longer. I'm using the Sun Grow Mix 4 Aggregated Plus, which is just a potting mix recommended for houseplants, containers, vegetables, and herbs. There's some perlite and peat moss in it. If all of that is gibberish, don't worry, just get a standard potting mix. That will be good enough just to start these seeds. They're not going to live in here forever, they're just starting. I pre-selected some seeds that I was going to start today, mostly flowers and some herbs. When labeling your jugs, think about roughly how many you're going to start. For some reason I started with ABCs, but then I thought, oh, I'm going to do way more than 24 potentially. So I just added some random numbers. Think about your numbering before you get going on it. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to keep record of what's in each container, so it'll be fine. While you're labeling, think about what weather conditions these jugs will be in. They will be rained on, they will probably be covered in snow. Some people even label the inside. If you can even make little tags to clip onto your handles or something like that, that way you just won't lose track of what is in here. You can start multiple seeds in these jugs, so you don't have to do just one variety. I'm not starting a ton because each seed could be a plant, so you don't have to go overboard. Although I am starting probably a little more than you would because some of these seeds are very small, so I'm just scattering them. I can always thin it out later. I don't have to use all the seedlings. Now I know you gotta get out there and plant your own seeds, but I just quickly want to show you how I sow some of these seeds. Depending on the size of the seed will tell me how I should plant the seed. Now if they're really small like these ones, I'm only going to be surface sowing them. And what that means is I'm just sprinkling them kind of roughly on top of the soil, and then I will press it in. They're so small that they don't need to be planted any kind of deep in your soil. They can just be right on top and pressed down, and a little layer of soil will kind of dust over them. Now those were really small seeds, so I just surface sowed them and pressed them down into the soil. Let me show you some of the bigger seeds. So I've got Echinacea here, and if you look at this seed, it is a bit bigger than the ones before, actually, a lot bigger. If you can hold the seed in between your fingers like this, then you can probably press them into the soil a little more than I was doing before. The rule is that you want to be planting it half as deep as the seed is wide, so that's a rough idea of how deep you're planting them. As you can see, I'm starting 2 types of seeds in this one jug. That is totally fine. I've recorded what is going to be in each jug already, so by the time I open these jugs, I'll have 2 kinds of seedlings or 3 kinds of seedlings, and I'll be able to have a rough idea what is each one. And if I don't, there's a handy app for that. I don't know the name of it, but you can scan a leaf of a plant and it will give you an indication of what plant it may be. So worst case scenario, use the resources that are available to us today. Now these next seeds are really small again, so I'm just surface sowing and then pressing down into the soil. And I'm very quickly sowing the rest of all the seeds into my pots because I don't want to take your time for you to go out and start your winter sowing. Once you've sown your seeds, it's time to water. You can pre-water your soil so that you don't have to do too much watering at the end, which could scatter your seeds if they're surface sowed. But I'm just kind of fountain watering, and sure, some seeds may move around, that's fine. Gardening isn't perfect. What's handy about these clear jugs is that you can kind of see the water level on the side in any case, so let that be a good indicator for you. Thank you for joining me today as I winter sowed some of our seeds. I'll be collecting some more jugs over the next few days and planting some more, I think. I'm also not taping these up tonight because I just watered the jugs, so I'm gonna tape them up later once the jugs have dried a little bit better. But that's it for now, guys. Thank you for joining me as I winter sowed some of our first seeds for this year. And hang around. If you like content like this, please subscribe, and then you can catch our next video. So this is now a few days later. Thankfully, none of my lids blew away. We've had rather calm weather here. And now I'm just applying a layer of duct tape to tape the lid and the base together. This will really create that greenhouse effect that I'm trying to go for here, and give those seeds some heat in the next cool days that we're expecting here. Now it's not perfect, as you can see. It's fine. As long as it's closed and a ton of cool air can't get in, then we're in business.